It's not been an easy ride for them, this, let's call it the last year and a half, trying to sort of guess where all this would shake out to. And now that things are shaken out,
a little bit, yeah.
Now CodeGear is its own company, division of Borland. What's been their response? I mean, are you seeing more developers coming in? Are they happy out there?
It's been a little unsure, but one of our missions is to solidify that. One of the main things, one of our big challenges with CodeGear is to make sure that people know we're here. And one of the reasons to do this, trying to do the show here, is let you know we're here. We're still building. We're still pressing forward. We just released a new roadmap in the last week. For our products. And
what does that look like at this point?
It looks like I have to couch this very carefully because there's a lot of implications for road.
Big picture.
Big picture is the big picture one-liner is concentration on native development with an eye towards the .NET platform. That's kind of the.
Okay.
I see Delphi meets Vista.
Yeah, that's kind of a poster we made up. Our most recent release, Delphi 2007 for Win32, is a native development platform that supports a lot of the Vista APIs. You get the glassing support, you get the dialogue support right out of the box, and we come at that from the native side.
Okay.
We speak right to the native
API call.
Native Win32 API calls. So, for instance, you can drop your form into our form designer.
Right.
Select the form, go to the object inspector, and there's a property there called glass frame, and if you set that to true, the form becomes a glass form. You can set it to be a sheet of glass, so it's all glass. You can set the boundaries on how far in and out the glass goes, and that all is a native application, Win32, speaking right to the Vista API.
So you're really committed at this point to move forward with whatever the OS is.
Well, yeah, we're very committed to Windows, and developing for Windows, and being a tool that develops Windows applications.
Okay.
What's the range of Windows versions that you're still currently supporting as a development target?
Officially, we support as a development target, Windows 2000 and up, basically.
Okay.
Our applications will run just fine on Windows 98 for the most part. There are some DLLs and common controls.
Everybody has that problem.
Yeah, missing from that. And we'll even, our apps will still even run on Windows 95, again, with if you don't touch certain areas and go in certain areas, they'll run on Windows 95.
That applies to everything.
Right.
That's the reason for trying to get out of DLL hell. We've been trying to do for
But it's basically the same thing it's basically the same thing that any other native development tool is going to have issues with. So.
Well, I guess then, so you're here to stay, and the roadmap looks like big. What have you said to these people as far as what can they expect from?
In the short term, we're going to release our .NET 2.0 support.
Okay.
We're going to follow that up in the sort of medium term with native Unicode support.
Okay.
That's probably one of our.
I've heard that.
That's probably one of our biggest demand right now is people that want to build and deploy native Win32 Unicode applications. And so what we're doing there is we're going to sort of top to bottom, left to right, front to back, build up our VCL and our product to be Unicode enabled, top to bottom, the whole bit. So developers. So developers basically string equals Unicode string.
Okay.
And that's kind of the way we're headed with that. And that's been a big demand for us, worldwide, both from regions that rely on Unicode and even, ANSI-ish regions, if you will, who want to deploy to the Unicode regions.
Well, clear up something for me, which is, if I wanted to go work with CodeGear stuff, do I need to learn Pascal, or are we talking sort of language independence now?
Well, if you want to use Delphi, you need to learn Pascal.
Okay.
We have our product C++ Builder, which is sort of Delphi for C++. It's a C++ tool that enables you to build applications using the same RAD technique with Delphi, drag and drop, component-based, the whole bit. So you can do everything we've talked about, everything I talk about with Delphi, you can do in C++ if you're interested in that.
Cool.
I'm the Delphi product manager. I'm a Delphi guy, so I'll say Delphi. But C++ Builder is our product, and it definitely has the same support for Vista that we currently have in Delphi, and it has the same access to all. The interesting about it has the same access to all the Delphi components. You can actually import Delphi components into C++ Builder.
Okay.
So it benefits from the C++ side of things and from the Delphi side of things, Pascal side of things too.
Is there, just in the big picture sense, is there a plan moving forward to start thinking about supporting Windows Presentation Foundation and communication foundation and workflow and the .NET 3.0 things?
Yeah,
which are essentially still .NET 2.0 libraries.
Right. Yeah. That's been kind of a bit of a interesting struggle for us in that, .NET 3.0 is really .NET 2.0 compatible, so our .NET 2.0 compiler will compile and work against .NET 3.0, but so it's kind of a marketing twist there that they've kind of curveball that they've kind of thrown. But our approach to that kind of thing is to focus on solutions and not technologies.
Okay.
Okay.
In that we don't want to get in the business of chasing around Microsoft.
Okay.
In the sense that just because Microsoft releases a technology doesn't mean that all of a sudden we have to jump onto it. And instead, we're kind of trying to focus on solutions for customers.
Okay.
In terms of, for instance, if you need to build a client application to talk to Oracle, we have the VCL.net. That's our solution, right? If you need to build a website, we are going to be releasing support for ASP.NET 2.0 to build it in Delphi, building a website.
Okay.
It's not so much that we're producing support for ASP.NET 2.0, we're building support to enable people to build websites. If you need to build web applications, say an internal application that instead of using a regular desktop application you want to deploy in the browser,
right?
You could build, using Delphi and RAD techniques, a web application using our VCL for the web technology.
Okay.
So we're kind of taking the approach to things like WPF, and we're trying to say what's the best solution for a rich internet application. Maybe it's WPF, maybe it's another solution or something like that. So we don't want to be chasing technologies, we want to be providing solutions. That's kind of our approach.
But if somebody in 2007 or after you release your next version, whenever that is, that has the .NET 2.0 support, if they wanted to build a WPF application, presumably they could use, say, Expression Blend to do the WPF designing piece. That's the whole idea, that you can separate the designing from the code, and then use Delphi to build the code that works.
Theoretically, you could do that, yeah, because Delphi's compiler will be 2.0 compatible.
Because one of the things that micro-ISVs tend to do also is evolve their applications rather than tear them down and start all over again. So people may be wanting to add...
they're smart, yeah.
Right. They may be wanting to add WPF visualizations of different sorts to their existing Delphi app, moving forward. So
that's theoretically possible. That's not something that we're, specifically testing or looking at at the moment. Focusing, because like I said, we're focusing more on the native side of things going forward. But we're keeping an eye on that, and we're looking at different ways to provide rich internet application solutions and that kind of visualization. And we're not trying to say, oh, we're going to support this technology. We're trying to say, oh, we're going to support this solution, the ability to provide these things. How we do that, we're not 100% clear on.